Hey True Northers. So in this phase of programming, we have what's called the isometric push-up. And what we've been seeing when people come in here is either not doing the isometric push-up for long enough, or worse, not doing the isometric push-up at all, and they're just doing a push-up variation. So it's important to make sure that you're doing the correct version of the exercise, and if you're doing a different version of the exercise entirely, that it's a conscious decision. For example, you're not able to do the isometric push-up for some reason, so you just go back to regular push-ups. But it has to be a conscious choice. The other thing is seeing some of the virtual members recording 7, 8, 9, 10 reps of the isometric push-up. I'm not going to lie. I think it's, if you're getting that many, then you're probably not holding the push-up for long enough, or you need to make it a harder version, so drop to a lower height. The little backstory on this version is I learned it from a presenter a few years ago at a conference we saw, who used it as a form of assessment because it measures a lot of the trunk stability at the same time as measuring that upper body strength, strength, stamina, strength, endurance, because you're holding it the whole time. So it's really important that you do it for the correct duration of time for it to be effective. And that's 10 seconds. So, and we all do this. When we're holding it, if we're counting in our head, you're probably counting too fast. That's what I've seen here anyway, because people will go into the push-up and hold, and I'll count out loud off the clock. And inevitably, when they get to about, I'd say 6 or 7 seconds, which in their head, if they're counting, is the 10 seconds, that's when it starts to get difficult. The other part of it is that you don't hold it at the top for very long. You go right back down into the bottom position of the push-up and hold it again. So if you get, let's say, 6 reps, that's a full minute of time under tension. Maybe not, yeah, it would be a full minute of time under tension with about a 1.5 second break as you push up and come back down. So a full rep is holding the 10 seconds and then getting to lockout. That's a complete rep, and then back down for your next rep. So if you do 2 reps and you're holding it at the bottom, and on that third time to come up, you come up and you don't quite get those elbows locked out, or you do a worm to reach up, that's not a complete rep. So you would record 2 reps. So just a quick demonstration of how the fractional push-up looks. You want to set yourself up. Now this is where you really start to see some of the potential weaknesses in your push-ups, where if your hands or your elbows are too far out, or your fingers are turned out, or your hands are too far forward and under your face, it's going to be way harder to hold that bottom position. This is where you really want to get those elbows in. Now I'm not saying elbows tight to the body, because that can turn into almost a variation that we don't want to do, but your upper arms, your upper biceps should be in tight, because that's going to help you engage the lats, which will help to hold that isometric position. All right, so I do it on my knuckles. That's just an old habit. It's also, I find it easier on my wrists. Don't do this if you can't do a proper fist, and if it's harder on your wrist that way. You could get a couple of dumbbells to do it that way if going into flexion bothers it. Or do it elevated, slightly elevated. Okay, so we get set up. I still haven't started yet. Still not started. So I go down and I hold it. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And then I come up, lock out, back down, 10, 9, 8, and so on. Okay, so really important that you hold that isometric. It's like a version of the plank at the bottom for that full 10 seconds. Use the timer on your phone, use the timer in Trainer Eyes, or you can use the clock. If you can't do 1 or 2 from the ground, then you can move into the elevated variations. A box or step would be about 12 inches. A regular box or a bench would be about 18 inches. And then you can go up from there, stacking to 24 and 30 inches. These are all ballparks. The key is don't find a height where you don't want your elbows to be like this, or sorry, your shoulders, you don't want them pitched too far forward. I maybe get a towel or something that can't actually support your weight, but that you can use to tell you when you're low enough. And you want your elbows to be at or just slightly past 90 degrees. Okay, I hope that helps clear some of this stuff up. Of course, if you have questions, please drop it in to us in Trainer Eyes, drop it on the Facebook group, or if you're on in person, just ask us when you come in. All right, good luck with that and let us know how it goes.